All right, everybody, we got a special treat for you today. We're here in Pomona at the NHRA Museum, which is outside the Pomona racetrack. And if you haven't been here before, next time you're in the LA area, I highly recommend you stop by and check it out. The place has got all sorts of cars and memorabilia from NHRA dating all the way back to early days of drag racing. So here, let's go on inside and take you a tour of this amazing facility. So down in this hall, we've got some vintage dragsters from the 50s and 60s. This particular one caught my eye as it's got two small block Chevy V8s put in at an angle with superchargers mounted to the front of it. Currently, there's a special display in the NHRA Museum featuring vehicles that have been run predominantly at the Bonneville Salt Flats that are featuring powertrains by Banks Industries. And if you don't know what Banks is, they do a lot of diesel performance products. All right, in this hall we've got a variety of race engines from back in the day. This one in particular is one of my favorites, as it's a modified small block 327, and it's got twin turbochargers on the front as well as two Carter AFB 4 barrels. But what's really unique is it uses the old Rochester fuel injection manifold in order to get the fuel distribution correct for the engine. So moving along, we've got a variety of other marine engines that have been used from drag racing over the years. Another big block Chevy, this time with a couple of turbos mounted on the front of it. Here we've got a 1940 Ford that was built in the 50s and drag raced. What I really like about this one is the fact that it's got an old early Chrysler 392 Hemi in it. Always fun to see Mopar products stuck in a Ford body. This one only ran a 1436, but back in the 50s, that is moving pretty good. Alright, here we got some vintage funny cars. Let's go take a look, shall we? So it's very popular that the 4041 Willys was used to drag race, and this is a particularly famous one being run by the Stone Woods and Cook organization. So of course, being a Mopar guy, we definitely love seeing the vintage Mopar dragsters from back in the day. This one being the Melrose Missile 3 is featuring a 426 Max wedge, and it ran a 12 flat in the quarter mile back in the early 60s. And in comparison, nowadays my wife's 2016 Charger runs a 12 flat in the quarter mile. So I found this Challenger funny car really interesting, mostly because under the hood here, it's featuring a 392 Hemi and not a 426 Hemi, which would have been more common for that era. And here we've got a haul of Bonneville salt flat racers. All right, behind me we've got a Bonneville salt flat racer that was built in the mid-60s. It's powered by a 17,500 horsepower engine that was bought from military surplus. This car back in 1965 ran 576 miles an hour. Let's take a closer look.